In the grim darkness of the far future, where technology and faith intertwine, a sinister force lurks within the shadows of the Imperium. The Dark Mechanicum, once loyal servants of the Emperor, now stand as a twisted reflection of their former selves. These renegade tech priests have embraced the forbidden knowledge of chaos, merging unholy sorcery with advanced machinery to create abominations that defy the laws of nature and sanity alike. Imagine a realm where the line between flesh and metal blurs, where screaming engines powered by demonic entities propel war machines across battlefields. Picture towering fortresses that pulsate with malevolent life, their walls adorned with writhing cables and pulsing organs. This is the domain of the Dark Mechanicum, where the pursuit of knowledge knows no bounds, and the price of progress is paid in blood and souls. As we delve into the corrupted heart of this techno-heretical faction, prepare to witness the horrifying fusion of science and sorcery. From the fallen forges of Mars to the nightmare realms of the Eye of Terror, the Dark Mechanicum's influence spreads like a virus, infecting the Imperium's most cherished technologies with the taint of chaos. The Dark Mechanicum's significance within the Warhammer 40,000 universe cannot be overstated. Their existence represents a fundamental schism in the Imperium's relationship with technology, challenging the very foundations upon which humanity's interstellar empire is built. To understand the weight of their betrayal, one must first grasp the vital role played by the Adeptus Mechanicus in the Imperium's survival. As the guardians of technological knowledge and the masters of its application, the tech priests of Mars form the backbone of imperial industry and warfare. Without their expertise, humanity would be defenseless against the myriad threats that seek its extinction. The Dark Mechanicum's defection during the Horus Heresy struck a devastating blow to the Emperor's forces, depriving them of crucial resources and expertise. More than that, it opened a Pandora's box of technological horrors, unleashing inventions and perversions that continue to plague the galaxy 10,000 years later. Their ongoing existence serves as a constant reminder of the fragility of the Imperium's technological base. The fear of innovation, so deeply ingrained in Imperial culture, stems in part from the ever-present threat of the Dark Mechanicum's corrupting influence. Each new discovery, each unearthed fragment of ancient technology, carries with it the risk of chaos contamination. Moreover, the Dark Mechanicum embodies the eternal struggle between progress and preservation that defines the Imperium's relationship with its past. While the loyalist Adeptus Mechanicus clings to ritualized procedures and dogmatic interpretations of technology, their dark counterparts push the boundaries of what's possible, heedless of the cost. This ideological conflict extends beyond mere technological applications. It strikes at the heart of humanity's role in the universe, questioning whether mankind should be the master of its creations or merge with them in unholy union. The Dark Mechanicum's existence forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of knowledge and the price of advancement in a universe where the lines between science and sorcery have long since blurred. The roots of the Dark Mechanicum stretch back to the earliest days of human civilization on Mars. Long before the Emperor's arrival, the Red Planet was home to a society of tech priests who worshipped the machine god, the Omnitia. This cult of technology would eventually become the Adeptus Mechanicus, but the seeds of heresy were sown in those ancient times. As Martian civilization recovered from the devastation of Old Night, competing factions arose among the tech priests. Some advocated for caution and the preservation of existing knowledge, while others pushed for bold experimentation and the rediscovery of lost technologies. This tension would persist for millennia, shaping the cultural landscape of Mars. When the Emperor arrived on Mars, he struck a bargain with the tech priests, offering them protection and resources in exchange for their allegiance. Many saw him as the physical incarnation of the Omnissiah, but others harbored doubts. These skeptics formed the core of what would become the Dark Mechanicum. Throughout the Great Crusade, as the Imperium expanded across the galaxy, the Mechanicum played a crucial role in outfitting and maintaining the vast fleets and armies. However, Some tech priests grew dissatisfied with the restrictions placed upon their research by imperial decree. Forbidden technologies and Xenos artifacts tempted them with promises of power and knowledge. The Horus heresy provided the perfect opportunity for these malcontents to break free from imperial control. When Horus revealed his treachery, he found willing allies among the tech priests of Mars. Kelbor Hal, the Fabricator General of Mars, pledged his support to the War Master, tearing the Mechanicum apart in a brutal civil war known as the Schism of Mars. Those who sided with Horus gained access to forbidden lore and demonic pacts, accelerating their fall into techno-heresy. They embraced the chaotic energies of the warp, infusing their creations with unholy power. The bargain struck with the ruinous powers granted them unparalleled technological insights, but at the cost of their humanity and sanity. As the heresy raged across the galaxy, the newly formed Dark Mechanicum played a pivotal role in Horus's war effort. They provided the traitor legions with corrupted war machines, demon engines, and blasphemous weapons that defied the laws of physics. Their forge worlds became nightmarish realms where flesh and metal merged in obscene unions. Following Horus's defeat, the surviving members of the Dark Mechanicum fled into the Eye of Terror along with the other traitor forces. There, in the twisted reality of the warp, they continued their heretical experiments, pushing the boundaries of science and sorcery to their limits and beyond. Over the millennia, the Dark Mechanicum has evolved into a fragmented but ever-present threat to the Imperium. Their influence can be felt wherever corrupt technology surfaces, from hive-world underbellies to long-lost space hulks drifting through the void. They remain a dark mirror to the Adeptus Mechanicus, a constant reminder of the dangers that lurk within humanity's quest for knowledge and power. The transformation of the loyal Mechanicum into the heretical Dark Mechanicum was marked by several pivotal moments that forever altered the course of the Imperium's history. These key events not only shaped the faction's development, but also had far-reaching consequences for the entire galaxy. First among these was the discovery of the Vaults of Moravec on Mars. Hidden deep beneath the red planet's surface, these ancient repositories contain technological marvels from humanity's lost golden age. However, they also housed forbidden knowledge and corrupted data spirits that whispered promises of power to those who accessed them. The tech priests who delved into these vaults emerged changed, their minds open to possibilities that defied imperial doctrine. The arrival of Regulus, a senior tech priest in service to Horus, on Mars marked another crucial turning point. Under the guise of requesting aid for the War Master's campaign, Regulus sowed seeds of dissent among the Mechanicum's upper echelons. His silver tongue and subtle manipulations exploited existing tensions, laying the groundwork for the coming schism. Perhaps the most significant event was Kelbor Hal's decision to side with Horus. As Fabricator General of Mars, his declaration of allegiance to the War Master split the Mechanicum in two. This act of betrayal unleashed a devastating civil war on Mars itself, with loyalist and traitor forces battling for control of the planet's vast forges and irreplaceable archives. The unleashing of the Tempest Galleries marked a point of no return for the Dark Mechanicum. These vaults, sealed for millennia, contained nightmarish creations from the dark age of technology. When opened, they released a horde of self-replicating machines that devoured everything in their path. The devastation wrought by these techno-horrors served as a grim demonstration of the destructive potential that the Dark Mechanicum now wielded. Another key moment was the creation of the first demon engines. By binding warp entities to machines, the Dark Mechanicum birthed a new class of war machines that blurred the lines between technology and sorcery. The deployment of these abominations on battlefields across the galaxy shocked even hardened space marines, their otherworldly powers defying conventional military doctrine. The fall of the Forge world, Mondus Gamma to Chaos forces, represented a major victory for the Dark Mechanicum. This planet-sized factory complex became a twisted laboratory where the most depraved experiments in techno-heresy could be conducted on a massive scale. The corruption of Mondus Gamma's vast production capabilities dealt a severe blow to the Loyalist war effort, while providing the traitor forces with a steady supply of advanced weaponry. As the Horus heresy reached its climax, the Dark Mechanicum played a crucial role in the siege of Terra. Their techno-sorceress abilities allowed them to breach the Imperial Palace's formidable defenses, paving the way for the Traitor Legion's assault. The horrific war machines they unleashed upon the cradle of humanity left scars that would never fully heal. In the aftermath of Horus's defeat, the surviving Dark Mechanicum elements retreated to the Eye of Terror along with their traitor allies. Their exodus marked the beginning of a new chapter in their history, one that would see them evolve into an even more terrifying threat to the Imperium they once served. These key events, from the first stirrings of discontent to the final desperate flight into the realm of chaos, shaped the Dark Mechanicum into the nightmarish force it is in the 41st millennium. Each step along this path of betrayal and corruption left an indelible mark on the faction, transforming it from a group of dissident tech priests into one of the most dangerous enemies the Imperium faces. The Dark Mechanicum represents a complex and multifaceted threat to the Imperium, embodying the dangers of unchecked scientific progress and the corrupting influence of chaos. To truly understand this faction, we must delve deep into their motivations, practices, and the consequences of their actions. At the core of the Dark Mechanicum's philosophy lies an insatiable thirst for knowledge and technological advancement. Unlike their loyalist counterparts in the Adeptus Mechanicus, who view innovation with suspicion and adhere strictly to ancient rituals, the Dark Mechanicum embraces change and progress at any cost. This fundamental difference in approach stems from their rejection of the Emperor's restrictions on certain fields of research and their willingness to explore forbidden technologies. The pursuit of knowledge, however, comes at a terrible price. By opening themselves to the influence of chaos, members of the Dark Mechanicum subject themselves to physical and mental corruption. Many undergo grotesque transformations, their bodies becoming nightmarish fusions of flesh, metal, and warp energy. These changes are not merely cosmetic, but reflect a fundamental alteration of their very essence. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Dark Mechanicum is their approach to the fusion of technology and sorcery. In their twisted workshops and laboratories, they conduct experiments that push the boundaries of what's possible, creating hybrids of machine and demon that defy conventional understanding. This merging of the material and immaterial realms produces inventions of terrifying power, but also of unpredictable nature. The creation of demon engines serves as a prime example of this techno-heretical approach. By binding warp entities to machines, the Dark Mechanicum produces war engines that possess a malevolent intelligence and capabilities that surpass purely mechanical constructs. However, these creations are notoriously difficult to control, often turning on their masters or acting in ways that undermine carefully laid plans. Another key area of Dark Mechanicum expertise lies in the field of biomechanical augmentation. While cybernetic enhancements are common throughout the Imperium, the Dark Mechanicum takes this concept to extreme and heretical lengths. They view the human form as a flawed vessel, ripe for improvement through unholy fusion with machine parts and demonic essences. The results of these experiments range from enhanced warriors of terrifying strength to monstrous abominations that barely resemble their original human form. The organizational structure of the Dark Mechanicum differs significantly from the rigid hierarchy of their loyalist counterparts. Without a central authority to guide them, Dark Mechanicum warbands and enclaves operate with a high degree of autonomy. This decentralized approach fosters innovation, but also leads to infighting and competition for resources. Alliances within the Dark Mechanicum are often temporary and based on mutual benefit rather than shared ideology. One cannot discuss the Dark Mechanicum without addressing the corrupting influence of chaos on their creations. Even seemingly mundane technologies produced by these renegade tech priests carry the taint of the warp. Weapons may develop a thirst for blood, Vehicles might develop a semblance of cruel intelligence, and cogitators could become possessed by malevolent data demons. This inherent corruption makes Dark Mechanicum technology both potent and dangerous, often backfiring on those who attempt to use it without proper preparation. The impact of the Dark Mechanicum extends far beyond the battlefield. Their existence poses a constant ideological threat to the Imperium, challenging the careful balance between technological dependence and the fear of innovation that defines Imperial culture. Every discovery of lost technology must be approached with caution, lest it contain hidden corruption planted by these techno-heretics. Moreover, the Dark Mechanicum's activities have long-lasting effects on the worlds they touch. Planets that fall under their influence often become nightmarish realms where the laws of nature are warped beyond recognition. Forge worlds corrupted by their presence churn out legions of twisted war machines, their very atmospheres becoming toxic with pollutants and warp energies. In essence, the Dark Mechanicum represents the ultimate cautionary tale in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. They embody the dangers of pursuing knowledge without ethical constraints, the corrupting nature of chaos, and the thin line that separates technological marvel from abomination. Their continued existence serves as a grim reminder of the price of betrayal and the ever-present threat that lurks in the shadows of the Imperium's technological base. The emergence and ongoing activities of the Dark Mechanicum have created a complex web of conflicts that extend far beyond a simple loyalist versus traitor dynamic. Various factions within the Warhammer 40,000 universe find themselves at odds with these techno-heretics, each for their own reasons and with their own methods of confrontation. Foremost among the Dark Mechanicum's adversaries is the Adeptus Mechanicus. Once brothers in the pursuit of knowledge, the loyalist tech priests now view their fallen counterparts with a mixture of fear, disgust, and grudging fascination. The conflict between these two factions is deeply personal, tinged with the bitterness of betrayal and ideological schism. The Adeptus Mechanicus sees the Dark Mechanicum as the embodiment of everything they fight against: uncontrolled innovation, the corruption of sacred machine spirits, and the blasphemous fusion of technology with chaos. They dedicate vast resources to hunting down and eradicating any trace of Dark Mechanicum influence, viewing it as both a duty to the Omnissiah and a means of safeguarding their monopoly on advanced technology. However, the relationship is not without complexity. There are whispered rumors of radical elements within the Adeptus Mechanicus who secretly study captured Dark Mechanicum creations, walking a dangerous line between orthodoxy and heresy in their quest for knowledge. The Inquisition, ever vigilant against threats to the Imperium, takes a particularly harsh stance against the Dark Mechanicum. Inquisitors of the Ordo Hereticus and Ordo Malleus often find themselves dealing with the aftermath of Dark Mechanicum incursions, rooting out corruption in Forge worlds and hunting down techno-heretical cults in hive cities. The insidious nature of corrupted technology makes their task especially challenging, as even a single tainted device can spread like a virus through an entire planetary infrastructure. Space Marine chapters, particularly those with close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus, frequently clash with Dark Mechanicum forces on the battlefield. The Iron Hands, with their deep-seated belief in the strength of the machine, view the Dark Mechanicum's perversions as a personal affront. Similarly, the Salamanders, masters of artifice and craftsmanship, often find themselves pitted against the twisted creations of these renegade tech priests. Among the forces of chaos, the Dark Mechanicum occupies a unique and often precarious position. While they are nominally aligned with the ruinous powers, their dedication to technological advancement sometimes puts them at odds with the more traditionally minded Chaos Space Marines. Some Chaos Lords view the Dark Mechanicum as valuable but untrustworthy allies, necessary for maintaining their war machines but always suspected of pursuing their own agendas. The relationship between the Dark Mechanicum and the Demon Primarchs is particularly intriguing. Entities like Perturabo, with his mastery of siege warfare and technological acumen, find common ground with the Dark Mechanicum's ethos. However, this alliance is fraught with tension, as the demon Primarch's capricious nature clashes with the methodical approach of the techno-heretics. Xenos races present yet another facet to the conflict surrounding the Dark Mechanicum. The Necrons, ancient masters of technology, view the Dark Mechanicum's attempts at merging warp energies with machinery as a perversion of the natural order. Encounters between these two technologically advanced factions often result in battles of terrifying destructive potential. The Eldar, with their deep understanding of the warp, recognize the danger posed by the Dark Mechanicum's experiments. Farseers have been known to guide their forces to intervene in real space, preventing the completion of particularly threatening Dark Mechanicum projects that could upset the balance of power in the galaxy. Even the Orcs, in their own brutal way, come into conflict with the Dark Mechanicum. The Greenskins' natural affinity for cobbling together effective weaponry sometimes leads them to loot and repurpose Dark Mechanicum technology, often with explosive and unpredictable results. Within the ranks of the Dark Mechanicum itself, conflict is a constant. Different factions vie for power, resources, and the favor of their Chaos patrons. Some seek to push the boundaries of human augmentation, while others focus on the creation of ever more powerful war machines. These internal divisions often lead to brutal skirmishes within the Eye of Terror and other Chaos-held territories. Rogue tech priests and heretics who operate independently of the main Dark Mechanicum factions add another layer of complexity to the conflict. These individuals sometimes find themselves caught between the Imperium and the forces of chaos, pursued by both sides for their knowledge and creations. The conflict surrounding the Dark Mechanicum extends beyond the physical realm. In the Noosphere and other digital domains, battles rage between Dark Mechanicum data demons and the machine spirits of loyalist tech priests. These digital conflicts can have far-reaching consequences, corrupting entire networks or unlocking ancient vaults of forbidden knowledge. The Dark Mechanicum's influence reached its zenith during a cataclysmic event known as the Hellforge Uprising. This galaxy-spanning insurrection saw dormant cells of techno-heretics activating simultaneously across dozens of Forge worlds, plunging the Imperium's industrial heart into chaos. On the Forge world of Graia, the uprising began with a series of mysterious malfunctions in the planet's vast production lines. As tech priests struggled to contain the spreading errors, hidden Dark Mechanicum agents unleashed scrap code viruses into the world's noosphere. Within hours, the planet's machine spirits were corrupted, turning factory servitors and battle automata against their masters. Meanwhile, on Mars itself, ancient vaults sealed since the Horus Heresy burst open, disgorging hordes of twisted creations. The Fabricator General of Mars, faced with this unprecedented threat, declared a state of emergency and called for aid from the Adeptus Astartes. As Space Marine strike cruisers entered orbit, they were met with the horrifying sight of the red planet's surface writhing with mechanical tendrils, as if the world itself had come alive. In the Calixis sector, the Forge world of Lathe Het became the staging ground for a Dark Mechanicum masterpiece of techno-sorcery. A massive reality engine, built over centuries in secret, was activated, tearing a rift in the fabric of space-time. Through this rift poured legions of demon engines, their metal hides gleaming with unholy sigils. The Hellforge Uprising reached its peak with the emergence of the Omega Vault, a legendary repository of Dark Age technology hidden in the depths of an abandoned space hulk. As news of its discovery spread, forces from across the galaxy converged on its location. Dark Mechanicum war fleets clashed with Adeptus Mechanicus explorator ships, while opportunistic Chaos warbands and Xenos raiders sought to claim the Vault's secrets for themselves. Within the Omega Vault, a small team of inquisitorial agents and loyalist tech priests raced against time to prevent the Dark Mechanicum from accessing the Vault's central chamber. As they battled through corridors filled with reality-bending traps and guardians, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The climax came as the Vault's inner sanctum was breached. There, amidst swirling energies and impossible geometries, stood a single, unassuming data cube. This cube, it was revealed, contained the complete STC template for a device capable of manipulating the fundamental laws of physics. In the hands of the Dark Mechanicum, it could reshape reality itself to their twisted vision. As the cube was activated, reality began to warp around it. Space Marines fought side by side with Skitarii against demonic machines that defied comprehension. In orbit, entire fleets were reduced to molten slag as weaponized singularities tore through void shields. The battle's outcome would determine not just the fate of the Omega Vault, but the balance of power between the Adeptus Mechanicus and their dark counterparts for millennia to come. The actions of a few individuals in those fateful moments would ripple across the Imperium, forever changing the face of technological warfare in the 41st millennium. The aftermath of the Hellforge uprising and the battle for the Omega Vault left an indelible mark on the Imperium and beyond. The consequences of these events would reshape the balance of power and redefine the nature of the ongoing conflict with the Dark Mechanicum. In the immediate aftermath, the Adeptus Mechanicus found itself in a state of disarray. The loss of several key Forge worlds to corruption forced a major reorganization of the Imperium's industrial base. Surviving Forge worlds saw their production quotas doubled or tripled, straining resources to the breaking point. This overextension left many worlds vulnerable to further infiltration by Dark Mechanicum agents. The Inquisition, recognizing the scale of the threat posed by techno-heretical cults, established a new Ordo Machinum. This specialized branch of the Inquisition was tasked with rooting out Dark Mechanicum influence and preventing the spread of corrupted technology. Their agents became a common sight on Forge worlds, their presence both reassuring and tension-inducing for the tech priests. On Mars, the scars of battle ran deep. Vast swaths of the planet's surface were quarantined, deemed too corrupted for even the most radical tech priests to safely explore. The Fabricator General implemented stringent new security protocols, slowing the pace of research and development across the Imperium. This caution, while necessary, frustrated military leaders facing ever-evolving threats on the front lines. The fate of the Omega Vault's contents became the subject of fierce debate and conflict. While the Adeptus Mechanicus claimed to have secured the data cube, rumors persisted that copies had fallen into the hands of various factions. The possibility that Dark Mechanicum cells might possess even fragments of this knowledge kept Imperial commanders awake at night, wondering what horrific creations might soon appear on the battlefield. In the aftermath of the uprising, a new arms race began between the Loyalist Mechanicus and their dark counterparts. Both sides poured resources into developing countermeasures against the other's technologies. This led to rapid advancements in fields such as anti-scrap code algorithms and warp-resistant materials. However, it also resulted in increasingly unstable and dangerous experiments as each side sought to gain the upper hand. The upheaval caused by the Hellforge uprising had far-reaching political consequences within the Imperium. Some planets, seeing the devastation wrought by corrupted machine spirits, began to reject advanced technology altogether. This Neo-Luddite movement gained traction in several sectors, complicating Imperial logistics and defense strategies. Among the forces of chaos, the Dark Mechanicum's stock rose considerably. War Master Abaddon recognized their crucial role in the near success of the Hellforge uprising and granted them greater autonomy and resources within his Black Crusade planning. This elevated status, however, bred resentment among other Chaos factions, leading to increased infighting. The Adeptus Astartes, particularly those chapters with close ties to the Mechanicus, intensified their training in anti-demon engine tactics. The Iron Hands chapter underwent a philosophical crisis, questioning the nature of their cybernetic enhancements and implementing even stricter protocols to prevent corruption. In the Calixis sector, the aftermath of the reality engine's activation left a permanent scar in the fabric of space-time. This region, now known as the Whisper Rift, became a hotbed of Dark Mechanicum activity. Strange phenomena plagued nearby systems with reports of time dilation, spontaneous mutation, and machines developing malevolent sentience. the Xenos races of the galaxy also felt the repercussions of the Hellforge uprising. The Necrons, observing the Dark Mechanicum's reality-warping experiments, accelerated their own plans to combat the growing warp threat. Eldar Farseers, their visions clouded by the technological abominations unleashed during the conflict, redoubled their efforts to guide their people through the turbulent times ahead. Perhaps the most profound and unsettling result was the subtle shift in the Imperium's relationship with its technology. The line between machine spirit and demon became increasingly blurred in the public consciousness. Rituals of activation and maintenance grew more elaborate and superstitious, reflecting a deep-seated fear of technological betrayal. As the dust settled, one thing became clear. The Dark Mechanicum was no longer a shadowy threat lurking in the background. They had announced their presence on the galactic stage in a way that could not be ignored. The Imperium, and indeed all factions in the galaxy, would need to adapt to this new reality or risk being left behind in the relentless march of corrupted progress. The rise of the Dark Mechanicum and the events of the Hellforge uprising sent shockwaves through the Warhammer 40,000 universe, influencing numerous characters and shaping major events in unexpected ways. Belisarius Cawl, the enigmatic Archmagos Dominus of the Adeptus Mechanicus, found his position both strengthened and challenged in the aftermath. His radical approach to innovation, once viewed with suspicion, gained more acceptance as the Imperium sought ways to counter Dark Mechanicum threats. However, accusations of tech heresy dogged his work on the Primaris Space Marines, with some questioning whether his methods strayed too close to those of the enemy. The Hellforge uprising had a profound effect on the Fabricator General of Mars. Once a staunch traditionalist, the crisis forced them to reevaluate long-standing policies. This led to a cautious opening of certain sealed archives, allowing controlled access to previously forbidden knowledge in the name of defending against Dark Mechanicum incursions. Among the Primarchs, Rogel Dorn's writings on fortification took on new significance. Imperial architects pored over his works, seeking ways to incorporate anti-scrap code wards and machine spirit sanctifiers into the very foundations of new structures. This Dorn resurgence in military engineering changed the face of urban warfare across the Imperium. The Alpha Legion, masters of infiltration and subterfuge, saw both opportunity and threat in the Dark Mechanicum's ascendancy. Their operatives worked tirelessly to plant sleeper agents within both Loyalist and Traitor Mechanicus ranks, gathering intelligence and sowing discord. However, they also found their own networks compromised by scrap code infections, leading to a massive purge and restructuring of their communication systems. On the Forge world of Metallica, Magos Domina Xyle rose to prominence for her work in developing new forms of machine spirit shielding. Her innovations allowed Imperial forces to operate in areas previously rendered impassable by Dark Mechanicum technological hazards. This breakthrough earned her both accolades and enemies, as rival tech priests accused her of exploiting Xenos technology in her designs. The night world of House Tyrannus experienced a schism following the Hellforge uprising. A significant portion of their number, led by the charismatic Sir Hector, advocated for more aggressive action against the Dark Mechanicum threat. This hawkish faction pushed for preemptive strikes against suspected Dark Mechanicum holdouts, straining the House's relationship with their more cautious Mechanicus allies. In the Inquisition, the events surrounding the Omega Vault led to a re-evaluation of the Ordo Xenos' priorities. The possibility that certain Xenos races possessed technology capable of countering Dark Mechanicum creations sparked fierce debate. Some Inquisitors argued for limited cooperation with races like the Eldar in the face of the techno-heretical threat, a notion that would have been unthinkable before. The tech guilds of Necromunda found themselves under intense scrutiny in the uprising's wake. Their relative autonomy and access to archaeotech made them prime targets for Dark Mechanicum infiltration. The resulting purges and power struggles reshaped the Underhive's political landscape, with some guilds rising to unprecedented influence, while others were wiped out entirely. Within the Adeptus Astartes, the Iron Hands chapter faced a crisis of faith. Their deep-seated belief in the superiority of the machine was shaken by the corruptibility demonstrated during the Hellforge uprising. This led to a philosophical schism within the chapter, with some battle brothers advocating for a return to more organic combat doctrines, while others pushed for even greater cybernetic augmentation as a show of defiance against the Dark Mechanicum. The rogue trader dynasties saw both peril and profit in the aftermath of the uprising. Houses with strong ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus found themselves tasked with scouring the fringes of Imperial space for signs of Dark Mechanicum activity. This dangerous work led to the downfall of several minor dynasties, but also to the meteoric rise of others who successfully navigated the political and technological minefields. In the ranks of the Chaos Space Marines, the Iron Warriors found their expertise in siege warfare and technological corruption in high demand. Perturabo himself took a renewed interest in the Dark Mechanicum's works, seeing in them the potential to finally break the stalemate of the Iron Cage and unleash his vengeance upon the Imperium. The Hellforge uprising had an unexpected impact on the Orc Waax across the galaxy. Mechs who had scavenged Dark Mechanicum technology began producing increasingly bizarre and deadly war machines. This led to a surge in Orc raids on Mechanicus outposts as word spread of the flashy gubbins to be found there. Even the Tyrannid hive mind felt the ripples of the Dark Mechanicum's rise. Encounters with corrupted technology led to the development of new biomorphs designed to consume and adapt mechanical components. This evolution of the Tyrannid threat added yet another layer of complexity to the Imperium's defensive strategies. The events surrounding the Dark Mechanicum's ascendancy also influenced the development of new Imperial saints. Tales spread of martyred tech priests who sacrificed themselves to prevent the corruption of sacred machines. These stories gave rise to a new subset of the Imperial Creed, focused on the sanctity of uncorrupted technology, complete with its own rituals and devotional practices. In the realm of Imperial politics, the High Lords of Terra found themselves grappling with the strategic implications of the Dark Mechanicum threat. The Master of the Administratum pushed for increased funding for the Adeptus Mechanicus, arguing that only by outpacing the traders in technological development could the Imperium hope to survive. This shift in resource allocation had far-reaching effects on everything from military campaigns to agricultural production across thousands of worlds. The Dark Mechanicum embodies a complex tapestry of symbolism and themes that resonate deeply within the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Their existence and actions serve as a mirror, reflecting and distorting the Imperium's relationship with technology, knowledge, and power. At its core, the Dark Mechanicum represents the eternal struggle between progress and tradition. Their willingness to embrace forbidden knowledge and push beyond established boundaries stands in stark contrast to the Adeptus Mechanicus's rigid adherence to ritual and dogma. This dichotomy forces us to question the nature of innovation in a universe where technological stagnation is seen as a virtue and necessity. The corruption of machine spirits by chaos influence serves as a powerful metaphor for the fragility of human creations in the face of cosmic forces. It challenges the notion of technology as a neutral tool, suggesting instead that our inventions can develop a will of their own, one that may turn against us. This theme taps into deep-seated anxieties about loss of control and the potential consequences of our technological dependence. Delving deeper, the Dark Mechanicum's fusion of flesh and machine explores the concept of transhumanism taken to its logical and horrifying extreme. Their creations blur the line between organic and mechanical, raising questions about the nature of humanity and consciousness. At what point does augmentation transform a person into something else entirely? This theme resonates with contemporary debates surrounding artificial intelligence and human enhancement. Symbolically, the Dark Mechanicum's use of scrap code viruses and corrupted data represents the power of information as both a weapon and a contagion. In a galaxy where knowledge is tightly controlled, their ability to spread technological corruption becomes an allegory for the dangers of unrestricted information flow. This theme touches on real-world concerns about cyber warfare and the vulnerability of interconnected systems. The aesthetic of the Dark Mechanicum, with its biomechanical horrors and demon engines, serves as a visual representation of the thin line between genius and madness. Their creations embody the concept of sublime terror, objects that inspire both awe and revulsion. This duality challenges our perceptions of beauty and functionality in technology. Exploring further, the Dark Mechanicum's relationship with the Warp introduces the theme of forbidden knowledge and its consequences. Their willingness to merge technology with chaos energies mirrors ancient tales of those who delve too deeply into arcane mysteries, often at the cost of their sanity or soul. This Faustian bargain for power and knowledge is a recurring motif in literature and mythology, given new life in the grim darkness of the far future. The internal conflicts within the Dark Mechanicum reflect broader themes of ambition and betrayal. The constant power struggles and shifting alliances among their ranks serve as a microcosm of the larger conflicts that define the Warhammer 40,000 universe. This internecine warfare highlights the self-destructive nature of unchecked ambition and the fragility of alliances built on mutual distrust. Symbolically, the corruption of Forge worlds by the Dark Mechanicum represents the perversion of creation itself. These planets, once centers of production and progress, become nightmarish realms where the act of creation is twisted into something monstrous. This transformation serves as a dark reflection of the Imperium's own industrial might, questioning the moral cost of endless production and consumption. The Dark Mechanicum's experiments with time and reality, as seen in events like the activation of the reality engine, introduce themes of cosmic horror. Their ability to bend the laws of physics challenges our understanding of a stable, comprehensible universe. This brush with forces beyond human comprehension evokes a sense of insignificance in the face of vast, uncaring powers, a key element of the Warhammer 40,000 setting. Lastly, the existence of the Dark Mechanicum serves as a constant reminder of the Imperium's own potential for corruption. They stand as a twisted mirror, showing what the Adeptus Mechanicus could become if it strayed from its path. This duality reinforces the theme of eternal vigilance against the forces of chaos, suggesting that even the most stalwart defenders of humanity are not immune to temptation. Reflecting on the Dark Mechanicum's role in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, one cannot help but be struck by the tragic irony of their existence. These once loyal servants of the Omnissiah, driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge, have become the very thing they once sought to understand and control. Their fall serves as a poignant reminder of the dangers that lie in unchecked ambition and the pursuit of progress without ethical constraints. What fascinates me most about the Dark Mechanicum is the philosophical quandary they present. In a universe where technological stagnation is the norm, they represent a twisted form of innovation. Their willingness to push boundaries and explore forbidden knowledge raises uncomfortable questions about the nature of progress itself. Are we, as a species, doomed to either stagnate or corrupt ourselves in the pursuit of advancement? The aesthetic horror of the Dark Mechanicum's creations is particularly compelling. The fusion of flesh, machine, and demonic entities creates a visual language that is both repulsive and fascinating. It challenges our notions of beauty and functionality, forcing us to confront the potential consequences of merging humanity with its creations. In many ways, the Dark Mechanicum serves as a dark reflection of our own society's growing dependence on technology. I find the concept of corrupted machine spirits to be one of the most chilling aspects of the Dark Mechanicum lore. The idea that our tools and creations could develop a malevolent consciousness taps into primal fears about loss of control and the potential for our own inventions to turn against us. It adds a layer of paranoia to the already grim dark setting of Warhammer 40,000, suggesting that even the most mundane technologies could harbor sinister intentions. The internal conflicts within the Dark Mechanicum are particularly intriguing. Despite their common goal of pushing the boundaries of science and sorcery, they remain divided by personal ambitions and competing philosophies. This internal strife adds depth to their portrayal, preventing them from becoming a monolithic enemy, and instead presenting them as a complex faction with its own internal dynamics. One aspect of the Dark Mechanicum that I believe deserves more exploration is their potential for redemption. While their corruption runs deep, the possibility of individual tech priests or even entire factions finding their way back to the light could make for compelling storytelling. The struggle between their human origins and their corrupted nature could provide rich ground for character development and moral dilemmas. The Dark Mechanicum's role in the broader conflicts of the 41st millennium raises interesting strategic considerations. Their ability to corrupt and subvert technology makes them a unique threat, capable of undermining the very foundations of imperial power. This presents exciting opportunities for storytelling, where the lines between ally and enemy can blur, and the most dangerous foes may not be apparent until it's too late. I'm particularly intrigued by the philosophical debates that the existence of the Dark Mechanicum must spark within the Adeptus Mechanicus. How do loyal tech priests reconcile their quest for knowledge with the need to avoid the fate of their fallen brethren? This tension between curiosity and caution adds depth to the portrayal of the Mechanicus as a whole, making them more than just cog-toting zealots. The concept of scrap code and data corruption as a form of chaos influence is a brilliant fusion of technological and supernatural themes. It updates the idea of demonic possession for a sci-fi setting, creating a threat that feels both ancient and futuristic. This blend of magic and technology is, in my opinion, one of the strongest elements of the Dark Mechanicum's lore. Lastly, I find the Dark Mechanicum's relationship with other Chaos factions to be a source of fascinating potential conflicts. Their focus on technological corruption sets them apart from the more straightforwardly martial or sorcerous Chaos Space Marine legions. This difference in approach and goals could lead to interesting alliances and betrayals, adding another layer of complexity to the ever-shifting landscape of power in the Eye of Terror and beyond. As we draw this exploration of the Dark Mechanicum to a close, we find ourselves confronted with a faction that embodies the darkest possibilities of human ambition and technological progress. Their existence serves as a grim reminder of the ever-present threat of corruption in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, where even the most noble pursuits can lead to damnation. The Dark Mechanicum stands as a twisted mirror to the Imperium's own relationship with technology. Their fall from grace highlights the fine line between reverence for machine spirits and the worship of darker entities. In their quest for knowledge and power, they have become a cautionary tale, illustrating the dangers of pushing beyond the boundaries of sanctioned science and into realms where morality and humanity are sacrificed on the altar of progress. Throughout our journey, we've witnessed the far-reaching consequences of the Dark Mechanicum's actions. From the corruption of Forge Worlds to the creation of nightmarish demon engines, their influence has reshaped battlefields and challenged the very foundations of Imperial technology. The Hellforge Uprising and the struggle for the Omega Vault demonstrated their potential to threaten not just individual worlds, but the stability of the entire Imperium. We've explored the complex web of conflicts surrounding the Dark Mechanicum, from their bitter rivalry with the Adeptus Mechanicus to their uneasy alliances within the forces of chaos. These relationships reveal a faction that is as fractious and unpredictable as the warp energies they harness, capable of sowing discord and destruction wherever their influence spreads. The symbolic significance of the Dark Mechanicum cannot be overstated. They represent the corruption of creation itself, the perversion of humanity's drive to innovate and improve. Their existence raises profound questions about the nature of progress, the limits of human knowledge, and the price we are willing to pay for advancement. As we've seen, the impact of the Dark Mechanicum extends far beyond the realm of technology. Their actions have influenced events and characters across the galaxy, from the halls of the Imperial Palace to the farthest reaches of disputed space. They have forced adaptations in strategy, sparked philosophical debates, and reshaped the very way the Imperium approaches its technological heritage. The aesthetic horror of the Dark Mechanicum's creations serves as a powerful visual metaphor for the dangers of unrestrained science. Their biomechanical abominations and reality-warping devices challenge our perceptions of what is possible and push the boundaries of the Warhammer 40,000 universe's already grim and dark setting. Looking to the future, the Dark Mechanicum remains a potent and unpredictable threat. Their continued existence ensures that the Imperium can never truly rest easy, even in its moments of triumph. The possibility of technological corruption lurks in every rediscovered STC, every unearthed archaeotech device, adding an element of tension and paranoia to the Adeptus Mechanicus' sacred quest for knowledge. In conclusion, the Dark Mechanicum stands as one of the most compelling and complex factions in the rich tapestry of Warhammer 40,000 lore. They are more than just another enemy for the Imperium to face. They are a dark reflection of humanity's potential for both greatness and corruption. Their story serves as a warning and a challenge, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of progress and the costs of unchecked ambition. As we ponder the implications of their existence, we are left with a sense of unease about the future of the Imperium, and indeed, of humanity itself. In a universe where the line between heresy and innovation is razor thin, the Dark Mechanicum will continue to cast a long shadow over the fate of the galaxy. Now that we've delved deep into the corrupted forge worlds and twisted laboratories of the Dark Mechanicum, it's time for you, our esteemed viewers, to join the conversation. Your insights and opinions are the raw materials from which we forge our community, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts. Have you encountered the Dark Mechanicum in your tabletop battles or narrative campaigns? We want to hear your war stories. Did your forces stand triumphant against a horde of demon engines, or fall victim to a devious scrap code infection? Share your tales of victory and defeat in the comments below. For the lore enthusiasts among you, what aspects of the Dark Mechanicum's history or philosophy intrigue you the most? Are there particular characters or events you'd like to see explored in future videos? Your curiosity fuels our research, so let us know what dark corners of the Omnissiah's domain you want us to illuminate next. Hobbyists and painters, we haven't forgotten about you. The biomechanical horrors of the Dark Mechanicum offer unique modeling and painting opportunities. Have you created any Dark Mechanicum-inspired conversions or color schemes? Share images of your work in the comments or on our community forums. Your creations might just inspire fellow hobbyists or even catch the eye of our painting tutorial team. If this deep dive into the Dark Mechanicum has piqued your interest in the broader Adeptus Mechanicus faction, why not check out our previous videos on the Loyalist Tech Priests? We've covered everything from the Forges of Mars to the latest Skitarii tactics. You'll find links to these videos in the description below. For those of you hungry for more corrupted knowledge, consider supporting our Patreon. Our tech adepts have prepared exclusive content delving even deeper into the arcane lore of the Dark Mechanicum. Patron supporters gain access to extended versions of our videos, behind-the-scenes insights into our research process, and even the chance to influence the topics of future explorations. Don't forget to activate your new spheric data tethers by subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell. This ensures you'll be alerted as soon as we upload new content, keeping you at the forefront of our expeditions into the grim darkness of the far future. Lastly, if you found value in this exploration of the Dark Mechanicum, spread the corruption by sharing this video with your fellow tech adepts and Warhammer 40,000 enthusiasts. Every share helps our transmissions reach new Forge worlds and hive cities across the Imperium. Remember, in the pursuit of knowledge, we walk a fine line between illumination and damnation. Stay vigilant, question everything, and may the Omnissiah's light guide your path through the darkness. Until our next transmission, this is your channel name, signing off. Praise the machine god, but beware its darker reflections.